My parents want me to sell my inherited house and give half to my sister who wished our grandma would die already. Now they're suing me. Hi everyone. Today's story will blow your mind, but really quick, if you enjoy this content, hit that subscribe button. Channel's been a bit quiet lately, and your support keeps it all going. Let's jump in. Original post. 28M, never thought I'd be posting here, but I'm at a complete loss and need outside perspective. This situation has been eating at me for weeks, and I honestly don't know if I'm being selfish or if my family has lost their minds. 6 months ago, my grandmother passed away. We were incredibly close. I spent every summer at her house growing up, helped her with repairs and maintenance as I got older, and visited her every Sunday for the last 5 years of her life. My sister Emily, 21F, was always too busy with her social life to visit, though Grandma never held it against her. When the will was read, I inherited Grandma's house, a beautiful 3-bedroom colonial in a nice neighborhood, worth about $450,000. Emily received Grandma's jewelry collection, worth approximately $15,000, and $25,000 in cash. My parents, Robert, 57M, and Patricia, 55F, received various sentimental items and photo albums, as they're financially comfortable and Grandma knew they didn't need money. The will was very specific. Grandma even included a letter explaining her reasoning. She wanted me to have the house because I'd shown love through actions, not just words, and she knew I'd take care of it the way she had. She mentioned hoping I'd raise my own family there someday. Everything was fine for about 2 months. Then my parents sat me down for a family meeting. They explained that while they respect Grandma's wishes, they believe inheritances should be shared equally among children. They want me to sell the house and give Emily half the proceeds, roughly $225,000. Their reasoning. 1. It's not fair that I got so much more than Emily. 2. Emily is still in college and could use the money for her future. 3. Family is more important than money. 4. Grandma didn't really understand how her decision would affect family dynamics. 5. I'm already established in my career while Emily is just starting out. I was stunned. When I pointed out that this was Grandma's explicit wish, they said she was old and sentimental and probably wasn't thinking clearly about the financial implications. They actually suggested that my regular visits might have unduly influenced her decision. Emily hasn't said much directly to me, but she's been cold and distant since the will reading. Last week, she made a comment about how some people certainly know how to work the system when I mentioned visiting Grandma's grave. I make decent money as a software engineer, but I'm nowhere near being able to buy a $450,000 house on my own. I've been living in a cramped apartment, saving for a down payment for years. This house is literally life-changing for me. But my parents keep hammering home that good brothers share with their sisters, and that I'm being greedy. The thing is, I love my family. I don't want this to tear us apart. But I also can't shake the feeling that giving in would be disrespecting Grandma's memory and wishes. She was sharp as a tack until the very end. She knew exactly what she was doing. Am I the asshole for wanting to keep what my grandmother specifically left to me? Should I sell and split it to keep the peace? I'm so lost right now. Edit. To clarify some questions. Yes, the will is completely legal and was prepared by Grandma's attorney 2 years before she passed. She was evaluated by her doctor at the time, who confirmed she was of sound mind. And no, I never asked for the house or hinted that I wanted it. We mostly talked about her garden, her memories, and current events during my visits. Update 1. 2 weeks later my sister is already spending her half of MY inheritance. I want to thank everyone who responded to my original post. Your comments gave me the confidence to stand firm on my decision to keep the house my grandmother left me. Unfortunately, things have escalated in ways I never imagined. After reading all your advice, I had a calm conversation with my parents. I explained that I would be honoring Grandma's wishes and keeping the house. I reminded them that the will was legal, Grandma was of sound mind, and that I wouldn't disrespect her memory by going against her explicit instructions. They were not happy. My mother actually said, "I raised you better than this, James. I never thought I'd see the day when money mattered more to you than your sister." My father was more direct. "You're going to regret this decision when you're older and realize you chose a house over your family." I thought that would be the end of it, agree to disagree and move forward. I was wrong. Last week, Emily posted on Instagram about apartment hunting in the city, and how she's so excited to finally have the freedom to live where she wants after graduation. Her friends were congratulating her, asking about her budget. She replied to one comment, "Let's just say a generous inheritance is making all my dreams come true. House 2 hearts." Then my cousin Michelle texted me. Apparently, Emily has been telling the extended family that she's getting her half of Grandma's house soon. She's been looking at luxury apartments downtown, talking about taking a gap year after graduation to travel Europe, and even mentioned wanting to start her own boutique marketing firm with her inheritance money. The kicker. She told our aunt that I'm processing the paperwork, and she should have her money by spring. She's literally already planning her life around money that doesn't exist. I confronted Emily directly for the first time since this all started. The conversation went like this. Me, Emily, we need to talk. I heard you've been telling people you're getting money from Grandma's house. Emily, what's there to talk about? Mom and Dad explained everything. You're going to do the right thing. Me, I'm keeping the house. That's what Grandma wanted. Emily, that's not fair and you know it. She left me basically nothing compared to you. I'm your sister. Me, you got $40,000 total between the jewelry and cash. That's not nothing. Emily, compared to $450,000? It might as well be nothing. I already have plans for my half. Me, your half. Emily, there is no your half. Grandma left me the house. Period. She actually started crying and accused me of stealing her future. She said she'd already told her boyfriend they could move in together in a nice place after graduation, already promised her best friend she'd help invest in her startup idea, and had put a deposit on a summer trip to Italy. I asked her how she could make financial commitments with money she doesn't have. Her response? Because I trusted my brother to do the right thing. Mom and Dad assured me you would. Now I'm getting calls from extended family members saying they're disappointed in me. My aunt actually said, your grandmother would be rolling in her grave if she knew you were being so selfish with her money. The irony. My parents have doubled down. They've started making passive-aggressive comments about how they'll remember this when it comes time to write their own wills. They've also begun rewriting history, claiming that Grandma always said everything should be split equally, and that she must have been confused when she wrote her will. The worst part? I found out from a family friend that my parents have been telling people I manipulated Grandma into leaving me the house. They're suggesting that I somehow convinced a sick old woman to favor me, painting me as some kind of predator who took advantage of her. I'm moving into the house next month. I've already given notice at my apartment. But I'm starting to realize this isn't going to blow over like I hoped. Emily is living in a fantasy world where she's already a wealthy entrepreneur, and my parents are enabling her delusions while assassinating my character to anyone who will listen. I'm staying strong, but it hurts. I keep reading Grandma's letter, the one where she said she was leaving me the house because she knew I'd honor the love we shared by making it a home, not a commodity. She saw this coming, didn't she? Update 2, 1 month later my parents are threatening legal action. I thought I had seen the worst of this situation. I was wrong. So wrong. I moved into Grandma's house 3 weeks ago. It was bittersweet, walking through the rooms filled with memories, smelling her lavender potpourri still faintly in the air, seeing her handwriting on garden labels. I found myself crying in her kitchen, remembering all the Sunday dinners we shared. The first week was relatively quiet. Then Emily showed up at my door with her boyfriend, Tyler. They walked through the house like they were on a real estate tour. Emily was pointing out changes she wanted to make when we buy our own place with my money. Tyler was taking measurements of the rooms, and Emily was taking photos. When I asked what they were doing, she said she wanted to document the house's condition for when I sold it. I asked them to leave. Emily broke down crying on my front porch, screaming that I was ruining her life and that she'd already told everyone about her plans. Neighbors came out to see what was happening. It was mortifying. 2 days later, I received an email from my father with the subject line, "Final warning, family meeting required." The email was formal, cold, and nothing like how my father usually writes. It outlined their position that I was morally obligated to share the inheritance and gave me 2 options. 1. Agree to sell the house within 90 days and split the proceeds with Emily. 2. Buy out Emily's rightful half by paying her $225,000. They gave me 1 week to decide, or they would pursue other options. I forwarded the email to a lawyer friend, who told me to take it seriously. He said that while Grandma's will seem solid, family members can contest wills on various grounds, and the process alone could be costly and emotionally draining. Yesterday was the deadline. I responded to my parents' email, firmly but respectfully declining both options. I stated that I would be honoring Grandma's wishes as laid out in her legal will. This morning, I woke up to find a formal letter taped to my door. It was from an attorney my parents hired. The letter states their intention to contest the will on the following grounds. 1. Undue influence, claiming I manipulated Grandma. 2. Lack of testamentary capacity, suggesting Grandma wasn't mentally competent. 3. Inequitable distribution, arguing that the will doesn't reflect Grandma's true intentions. The letter also mentioned they've been gathering evidence, including a testimony from Emily about my excessive visits to Grandma, a medical records they're requesting to prove cognitive decline, a statements from family members about Grandma's confusion in her final years, a financial records showing I occasionally helped Grandma with online banking. I'm devastated. They're really going to drag Grandma's memory through the mud for money. They're willing to paint her as a senile old woman who was taken advantage of, just so Emily can have her European vacation and luxury apartment. The lawyer I consulted says I have a strong case, but defending it will cost at least $20,000 to $30,000. He also warned me that these cases can drag on for years and destroy families permanently. He asked if I was prepared for that. What kills me is that I found more of Grandma's letters while packing up her remaining belongings. One, dated just 6 months before she died, said, "My dear James, if you're reading this, it means I'm gone and you're probably facing some difficulties. I know your parents and sister well. They're good people, but they see the world differently than we do. They see fairness as everyone getting the same thing. We see fairness as people receiving what they've earned through love and dedication. Stand strong, my boy. This house isn't just walls and a roof. It's the place where you learn to garden, where you fixed the kitchen sink at age 16, where you spent countless Sundays keeping an old woman company when you could have been anywhere else. It's already your home. I'm just making it official. Don't let anyone take that from you. Love, Grandma." She knew. She absolutely knew this would happen. My phone has been blowing up with messages from family members. Some support me, saying Grandma's wishes should be respected. Others are calling me selfish and greedy. My mother sent me a text that simply said, "You've chosen a house over your sister. I hope you can live with that." I'm meeting with my lawyer officially next week to prepare my defense. I've started documenting everything, every email, text, voicemail. I've also reached out to Grandma's doctor and lawyer to get statements about her mental capacity when the will was made. I can't believe it's come to this. All because my grandmother dared to leave her property to the grandchild who actually spent time with her. Update 3. 1 month later the truth comes out in court documents. I've been quiet for a month because my lawyer advised me to stop posting while we prepared our response to my parents' legal challenge. But something happened yesterday that changed everything, and I need to share it. Quick recap. My parents officially filed to contest Grandma's will. They hired an expensive attorney and have been gathering evidence of my supposed manipulation. Emily has been telling everyone she's the victim of my greed. The family is completely divided. My lawyer, David, has been incredible. He immediately requested all of Grandma's medical records, financial documents, and communication records. What we found has shifted this entire situation. First, Grandma's medical records showed she had regular cognitive assessments done every 6 months for the last 3 years of her life. Why? Because she knew this might happen. Her doctor included notes that she specifically requested these tests to ensure her final wishes couldn't be questioned. Every single test showed she was sharp as ever. But here's where it gets interesting. David found emails between my parents and Grandma from 2 years ago. They were pressuring her to change her will to split everything equally. My father actually wrote, "It doesn't matter who visits more, Mom. They're both your grandchildren. Don't play favorites." Grandma's response was brilliant. "Robert, I'm not playing favorites. I'm acknowledging reality. James has been here every Sunday for 3 years. Emily hasn't visited once in the past 18 months. My will reflects the love that was shown, not the love that was claimed." There were dozens of these emails. My parents badgering her, trying to guilt her, even suggesting she wasn't thinking clearly. In one email my mother wrote, "If you don't split things equally, you'll tear this family apart after you're gone." Grandma replied, "No, Patricia. Your reaction to my decision will tear this family apart. I'm giving each grandchild what I feel they deserve. If you can't respect that, the division is on you, not me." But the real bombshell came from Emily's text messages. David subpoenaed phone records as part of discovery. We found texts between Emily and her friends from a year before Grandma died. Emily, "Ugh, Mom wants me to visit Grandma again this weekend, friend. Just go, she's loaded, right?" Emily, "Yeah, but it's so boring. She just talks about her stupid garden, friend. Think of the inheritance, oh, Emily. True. But James basically lives there, so he'll probably get everything anyway. Such a kiss-ass friend. Can't you contest it or something?" Emily, "Mom says we can if we need to. She knows lawyers." Another conversation from 6 months before Grandma passed. Emily, "I can't wait for Grandma to die already. Is that terrible? Friend. Emily. Face screaming in fear. Emily. What? She's old and I need money for grad school. At least James's ass kissing might pay off for both of us if Mom makes him share. When David presented these texts in our response filing, along with the medical records and emails, my parents' lawyer actually looked shocked. He asked for a recess to confer with his clients. 2 hours later, they came back with a settlement offer. They'll drop the will contest if I agree to give Emily $50,000 as a gesture of family unity. David laughed. Actually laughed. He counteroffered. They drop the contest, pay my legal fees, $18,000 so far, and provide a written apology for defaming my character to the family. The look on my parents' faces was something I'll never forget. My mother started crying. My father turned red. Emily stormed out of the room. Their lawyer advised them to take a few days to consider. That was yesterday. This morning, I woke up to 47 missed calls. Emily had posted on Facebook a rant about how I'm destroying our family with greed, and how I'm using Grandma's death to get rich. She conveniently left out the texts where she called Grandma boring and wished for her death. The post backfired spectacularly. Our cousin Michelle commented with screenshots of Emily's apartment hunting posts from months ago, asking, "How were you planning to pay for a $3,500 per month apartment on a part-time barista salary?" Thinking face. Our aunt commented, "Funny how you never mentioned visiting your grandma when she was alive, but now you're heartbroken about her true wishes. Some of us remember who actually loved her." The post was deleted within an hour, but the damage was done. My phone rang this afternoon. It was my father. His voice was quiet, defeated. "We'll drop the contest," he said. "But we're not paying your legal fees or apologizing. Just let it end." I wanted to push for the full terms, but David advised me to accept. "You've won," he said. "They know it, you know it. Take the high road." So I agreed. The contest will be formally withdrawn next week. I keep the house, free and clear. But I've lost my family in the process. My mother sent me one last text. "I hope the house was worth losing your sister." I didn't respond. Because the truth is, I didn't lose my sister over a house. I lost her the day she decided visiting Grandma was too boring, the day she wished for an old woman's death for money, the day she spent an inheritance that was never hers. Grandma's house is peaceful. I've planted new roses in her garden, the yellow ones she always wanted but never got around to. I sit on her porch every evening, in the same chair where we used to talk for hours. Sometimes I feel her there with me, and I know I made the right choice. The family is split, but maybe it always was. At least now, the truth is in the open. Final update. 4 months later, sometimes winning doesn't feel like victory. It's been 4 months since my last update, and I wasn't planning to post again. But I've received hundreds of messages asking for closure, and honestly, writing these updates has been therapeutic. So here's where things stand now. The will contest was officially withdrawn. The house is mine, no strings attached. I thought that would be the end of it, but the aftermath has been complicated. About a month after everything was finalized, Emily showed up at my door at 11 p.m., drunk and crying. Her boyfriend Tyler had broken up with her. Apparently, when he found out there was no inheritance coming, he suddenly decided they weren't compatible. She begged me to let her crash for the night, and against my better judgment, I let her in. That night, sitting in Grandma's kitchen, Emily broke down completely. She admitted she'd been living beyond her means for months, taking out credit cards and loans based on the assumption she'd pay them off with her inheritance. She was $30,000 in debt and facing eviction from her apartment. "I know I fucked up," she sobbed. "I know what I said about Grandma was horrible. I saw all my friends getting help from their families and I felt entitled to the same. I'm so sorry, James." It was the first real conversation we'd had in months. I made her coffee, let her sleep in the guest room, and in the morning, we talked more. I couldn't give her money. I'd already spent a significant amount on legal fees and house repairs. But I offered to let her move into one of the spare bedrooms temporarily, rent-free, while she figured things out. My parents were furious when they found out. They accused me of rubbing Emily's nose in my victory and making her grovel for charity. But Emily herself was grateful. She moved in 2 weeks later with just a few boxes and a lot of humility. Living together has been interesting. Emily found a full-time job and a weekend side gig. She's been in therapy, working through what she calls her entitlement issues. She's also been reading Grandma's journals, which I found in the attic. One night, she came to me crying, holding a page where Grandma had written about hoping Emily would find her way back to the family. "She never gave up on me," Emily said. "Even when I gave up on her." Slowly, things have been healing. Emily started tending to Grandma's garden with me. She's learning about the plants Grandma loved, the stories behind them. Last month, she said something that surprised me. I understand now why she left you the house. You didn't just visit her. You knew her. I never took the time to really know her, and I can't get that back. My parents are still not speaking to me directly, but I hear from other relatives that they're struggling with the fallout. Many family members have distanced themselves after learning about their behavior during the will contest. My aunt told me that at a recent family gathering, my mother broke down crying, saying she lost both her children over money that wasn't even hers. 2 weeks ago, I received a letter from my father. It wasn't an apology exactly, but it was close. He wrote about his own father dying when he was young, how his siblings fought over everything, how he swore his family would be different. He said he let his principles about fairness blind him to what was actually fair. He ended with, "Your grandmother raised you right. I'm sorry I couldn't see that." I haven't responded yet. I'm not sure what to say. As for the house itself, it's become a real home. I've kept most of Grandma's furniture and decorations, but I've also made it mine. The garden is thriving. I host Sunday dinners now, and slowly, family members have started coming. Emily never misses one. Last week, while cleaning out the last of Grandma's belongings, I found one more letter. This one was addressed to both Emily and me, dated just a month before she died. My dear grandchildren, if you're reading this together, then perhaps there's hope after all. James, you have my house but not my permission to lord it over others. Emily, you have my love even if you forgot to show yours. Life is long, and forgiveness is powerful. Don't let my death divide you. Let it remind you that time is short and family is precious. The house is just walls and memories. What matters is what you build inside it. Oh my love, Grandma. Emily and I cried together reading that. We framed it and hung it in the kitchen. I'm not naive enough to think everything is fixed. The scars are deep. Trust, once broken, takes time to rebuild. But we're trying. Emily is saving money, going to therapy, and slowly becoming the person Grandma always believed she could be. My parents and I are taking baby steps toward reconciliation. Was the house worth the pain? That's the wrong question. The right question is, was standing up for Grandma's wishes, her memory, and her legacy worth it? Yes. Absolutely yes. Grandma didn't just leave me a house. She left me a test. And in passing it, I learned who my family really was, who I was, and who we could all choose to become. The roses I planted are blooming now, bright yellow in the morning sun, just like she wanted. Sometimes I sit on the porch and tell her about everything that's happened. I like to think she knows. I like to think she's proud. That's all, folks. Thank you for following this journey. Hold your loved ones close, respect their wishes, and remember, inheritance isn't about what you're owed. It's about what you've earned through love. Edit. To answer the most common question, yes, Emily still lives with me. She saved $15,000 so far and plans to move out next year. But honestly, I'm in no rush to see her go. Turns out, when you strip away the entitlement and greed, she's actually pretty good company. Who knew?